What's happening, guys? Ready? Fuck's sake. What's happening, guys? Ready Eddie here, back with another video, back with another vlog. We are here with the wonderful Ashley, and I really hate this music, to be honest. At some point I need to change this music in the intro.
I like it.
Yeah?
It sounds great.
But it's the generic music. Everyone with this sound mixer has this same audio in the background, but it's fine. Here we go. I'm going to turn that off
I feel
now.
like dancing.
It's just going to start again. Here we go. How's it going, Ashley?
I'm
Ashley.
good. Nice seeing you after a very long time.
Yeah, we go through phases.
We clash a lot.
Yeah,
but we love each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There we go. So, yes, this is podcast number 3. And we are talking. I feel like I need music in the background throughout the whole thing.
Really?
I really do, don't you?
No, because you hate your own sound.
It's fine. So, yeah, we are talking more photography stuff. I promise at some point we're going to have people that aren't photography related. But here we are. How are you doing anyway, Ashley?
I'm good, but I wouldn't say I'm really a photographer. I'm a business owner, so put it that way. Boss lady lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, thank you very much for coming down to the studio.
Thank you so much for inviting.
It's okay. So yeah, we're just talking general photography stuff, and I want to be able to get a backstory on Ashley from the get-go, because obviously we've met and we've created history from there, but I don't know very much about Ashley from before then. So could you give us a general rundown of Ashley, what inspired you to get into being a business boss lady, photographer person?
Yeah, of course I can. Well, first of all, I'm originally from Turkey. You can tell from the accent, I guess. And I came here age of 19. My family sent me here because I couldn't speak any word of English. You know, like, hi, how are you? Where are you from? They were the basics that I only knew.
Okay.
So they sent me here age of 19 to learn English, because in Turkey, obviously, you know, like when you do A-levels or GCSE, my subject was English, and I kept failing on my English test.
Okay, so it's not as if you were necessarily passionate about speaking English.
No, it wasn't about that. And so I kept failing, and then I gone to all the private colleges, private lessons. I couldn't learn it in Turkey, basically. So what they did, all right, let's send you to UK, learn it.
Where they send you on your own?
Yeah, on my own.
Oh, really?
And you know what? My dad is a very strict man. Okay. Like, I wasn't allowed to go out to meet up with my friends for coffee or cinema. You know, he was very strict. And then we were kind of like shocked that he sent me to England to learn English. So I came here with my 80 kg luggages.
80?
Yeah, about like 10 different shoes, everything matching, you know. And I regret, to be fair, I even brought my own shampoos from Turkey. I don't know why I did that. Okay. And so I came here.
What age again, sorry?
19.
19?
Yeah, and I couldn't speak English at all, as I said.
Were they fed up at you? They're just sending you away?
No, I don't think so. No, they missed me. But I spent about like a few weeks in the UK, yeah? Mm-hmm. I called my dad and I'm crying. Take me back home. It's raining here. I hate this country. I can't do it. He's like, no, I send you there to learn English. It's not about the weather. It's not about anything else.
So did you have your own flat?
No. So what happened is I went to Birmingham, University of Birmingham. Okay. They do a college for international students, you know, who wants to learn English. Okay. So I started from the...
Okay, hold tight. Yeah. You didn't turn off completely, just don't need to like power setting. Sorry, wait 1 second.
Sorry seemed to be the hardest words. I like that song.
You can sing the whole thing, it's recorded.
No, you can't do that. Make sure that video never published. I can't remember what I was saying.
Talking about coming to the UK. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. Hopefully it doesn't. I'm sure it will go off again. I didn't figure out why it was turning off. Anyway, yeah, we were talking about how you came to the UK and you going to Birmingham college?
Yeah, University of Birmingham,
Yeah.
to learn English,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
And I made some English friends. Like, there was this guy, I never forget his name, Nick. He was walking and he had this amazing aftershave. And I said, sorry, your perfume?
Yeah.
And he laughed and he said, it's Diesel. He said, where are you from? I said, me from Turkey, I said. And he said, oh, okay, I've been to Turkey, And then he became my friend. And I said, help me with my English. I want to improve. I'm here to learn English. And then we used to go to library, believe it or not. We used to do a lot of tests and he used to teach me grammar.
Okay.
So I picked up the Birmingham accent because the guy was from Birmingham.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm from Birmingham.
So your first introduction to the English language was
Or like her.
So yeah, you can quite easily jump into the Brummie accent.
Yeah, you know, when you learn another language, you do pick up the accent, isn't it? I know my accent is not British accent. It's very mixed, but I did pick up the Birmingham accent a little bit. So yeah, It was very funny. Birmingham Turkish accent.
So were you staying like student digs with that with other people?
No. As I said, my dad is very strict. He was, and what he did was he basically sort out my student accommodation, that I had my own room, just the building was like just the girls, no mixed with guys. And,
right.
It was that type of, it was a private student accommodation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So you went through, what did you study then?
Just learn English, started
English.
from the bottom, apple, banana. I'm like, I know these things, but it's just I needed more practice. In Turkey, we learn very intense grammar, but when you can't talk, you can't put it together.
Yeah.
So all I needed, how to speak.
Yeah.
And my vocabulary wasn't great, obviously, as well. So I just needed practice to be able to speak and understand this language.
That's literally how you do it. Jump into the deep end and surround yourself with it.
Definitely.
So you were sent off to the UK and you started learning English from the deep end. What were you trying to achieve anything in that time? What was your drive? What was your goal at
Obviously,
19
because they sent me here so I can pass my university exams to be able to go to uni in Turkey. So I stayed here about a year.
Okay, so you were staying here to help
extended
with your English you're having a year out to better the English so you can come back and then
go back to Turkey and then do my
Turkey.
That's what I wanted.
Fair play.
So I extended, it was originally 6 months, then I extended it for a year.
Okay.
Because I said to my dad, look, although I don't like this country, the weather, where I'm from, it's like kind of like Miami, like I live in the seaside. It's an amazing weather in Turkey, I do like my hometown. So I said, it is not amazing. I still need to improve more to be able to pass this test.
Yeah.
He said, okay. So I extended it for a year, come back Turkey, had a very good job there. I was in textile and then came back here again a year after and I met my ex-husband, English guy. And I'm just like, okay, why don't I go to university in the UK, which I don't have to pass anything. I quite, because when you give 10 grand, they're just like, international students come in,
please.
That kind of take the pressure off my shoulders. I'm like, Dad, is it okay if I go to uni in the UK? He's like, of course. So he sent me here back to go to uni. And obviously I met my husband and got married and all that, had a child, happily divorced. I'm not going through that stage, so I'm just simply explaining why I came back to the UK again.
So even though you hate the weather, you fell in love with
I still hate it.
The weather. No one likes the weather. We tolerate.
Yeah.
Okay, so at what stage did you start wanting to be a business person or?
Age of 7.
Yeah.
Believe it or not,
Okay.
because my dad is a businessman, and I always look up to him. I'd say like he's my idol, and it's in my bloodline to become a businesswoman.
Yeah.
having said that, when I was like living in Turkey, I always wanted to be famous in front of the camera, drama series, you know. I had a lot of offers since I was a little age. And when I was like teenager, like about 15, 16, I started acting on the stage. Like I was in the city theatre in my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad said, over my dead body, you're never going to be an actress.
Okay.
It was my passion. I loved it. And, but as I said, because he was very strict dad, he said, no, you're only going to be a businesswoman. You're only going to follow my path. I'm just like, sugar, that's not what I want.
What did your dad do?
He had like a Renault garage, you know, like the dealership.
Yeah.
He was kind of like a shareholder. So yeah, he doesn't do that anymore, but he did. Yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah. That's why I'm into my cars as well. It comes from that.
Yeah, fair enough.
So when I came obviously back to the UK, I got married and all that, went to university. I left university, by the way, because I was studying business only because my dad wanted me to study business, because I actually wanted to study acting. He said, no, I'm not paying 10 grand for you to be a stage actress. There's no money. These people are starving.
Not easy enough.
In a sense, I never understood his mentality at that time. I was like, spoiled child. Nah, this is what I want. But he's like, no, if I'm paying, you're going to do what I want you to do. So yeah, I studied business at Coventry Uni, which I found is so boring.
Okay, yeah.
And
why do you find it boring?
Why did I? Because I'm not really an academical person.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember, I hope my tutor's not listening to this.
Sure.
So what I was doing, for example, I need to write an essay for 3,000 words or whatever, you know, for my assessments.
Yeah.
And I was Googling, I was copying from this page, that page, changing the words a little bit, used to tell my ex-husband, just mix the words, can't be bothered to write, you know. I've passed my first year. And I said, you know, this is not me. Yeah. And I called my dad as well. I said, Dad, to be able to be a business woman, I don't need to study business. I'm not going to be a doctor or nurse, which I have to go to uni. I said, I have the business mind in me.
Yeah.
I don't have to do this, and you're wasting your money. So after my first year, I left university. And I opened my own business with my ex-husband, estate and letting agency.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No,
All right. Okay. So yeah, that's what I did. And because my English, we didn't have the properties, but
you're letting it
when I met my ex-husband, he was working for one of the biggest agencies, estate and letting agencies in Coventry, and he was the aerial manager. So the company gone bust, and I said to him, "Look, we can do our own one because customers, they trust you, they know who you are. They'll come and give their properties to you." So we opened our own one. He was obviously doing the local business, and then I brought a new idea. I'm like, do you know what? I'm gonna sell Turkish properties in the UK because at that time, Turkey was very popular to buy properties, and they were cheap, you know, like summer home.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what I did. I found a lot of like construction companies who are not on the UK market because I'm Turkish. So I just like basically done my own research, gone to Turkey, visited them all, got my pictures, all the details, started advertisement on Rightmove and selling my Turkish homes. Yeah.
That's a good hustle.
I know. I think my portfolio was about 500 Turkish properties on Rightmove. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming that focus on that kind of things disappeared with that relationship.
I'm going to say this to you. It was never my passion.
Okay.
It was just like something, when we have our business, there's something that I can put into that business.
Yeah.
I was very insecure talking on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like my English, like, I mean, you're obviously British English.
Yeah.
Even if I say something wrong, you'll understand that.
Yeah.
But I was so how do you say, unconscious? Like, how about if they don't understand me on the phone? And this, I was very insecure about that. It was my weak point, and I never really enjoyed doing that.
Yeah.
So it was just like more for business. And after what I did, I'll tell you. I'm gonna kind of like tell you how I started photography. Obviously, as you know, my hobby was always not my hobby, my goal and my dream always to be an actress.
Yes.
And being in front of the camera. So now obviously I'm married. My dad can't tell me what to do. Okay. So I started doing short movies in the UK, like modeling. My first modeling job was for Canon.
Yeah.
So I modeled for Canon.
But yeah, you use a Nikon camera.
Hang on, all these years I was on Canon, as you know.
Yeah.
But recently, a few years ago, I changed it to Nikon because although I'm not a very technical photographer, you know that, I do prefer Nikon indoor, like in the studio.
Yeah.
I think the photos are sharper compared to Canon.
Historically, I would agree. Nikon were very good at low light back in the day, and they were very sharp compared to the soft Canon look. But things have changed.
Things have
it's okay.
changed.
We'll get you back on Team Canon at some point. Okay, so your first modelling job was Canon?
For Canon, yeah. And then obviously, because once you model for Canon, kind of like it's a big name, isn't it?
Yeah.
I started having a lot of modeling jobs like fashion or little like promos for hotels or restaurants, things like that. And I started getting paid. And I was like, okay, I'm enjoying this. I'm loving it. It was just like a hobby, to be fair. I wasn't about the money, but I always wanted to do that. And as I said, like my dad never allowed me to do that. So I'm just like, I'm loving it. I'm enjoying this. So I came to a stage, I actually want to take photos of myself. As you know, photos or creating a portfolio is quite expensive. So I got my semi-professional camera, but how do I take photos? I don't know. How do I use it? You know, I really wanted to take photos of myself, of other people, of nature. It kind of like I built a passion for photography all of a sudden, you know, more than modeling or acting. So I went to this studio back in, I think 2011, 12, something like that. I think 2012. I modeled for them. And then I said, oh, you guys got an amazing studio. I really want to take some photos. Like, I want to learn photography. They had 6 photographers. And he said, okay, we'll train you. We'll tell you how to take photos and train you in poses and stuff. We won't pay you. We don't expect you to pay us as well. Commit to us, come as much as you want and train with our photographers. I'm like, wow, this is a dream came through for me, you know. Somebody's teaching me, somebody's giving me that knowledge about photography, you know. And so the guy who owned the studio, he had 3 different photographers. I'd say one of them was really good with family photos. One of them was really good with models. One of them was really good with kids and stuff. So 3 of them started training me on different days. And after 3 months, what I noticed about myself, I gathered all their talents in me. Because their profession is just like one, you know, if it's family shoot,
to absorb all the information.
The information and poses, that they're so important. How to use your lighting in the studio. These things are really important. So I'm just like, wow, I'm doing great. And then at that time, they were working for, I think, £65-70 per day. That was the rate, studio rate, So the owner said, look, you just became a photographer after 3 months training with us. They don't want to work for this money. I'm like, okay. But they were very talented photographers. They don't want to work for this money. I'm going to hire you for £60 a day. Do you want to take all the shifts? I'm like, happy days.
Fair enough. You're there every day anyway.
So I became a main photographer there. Then another studio hears about me. They're like, okay, you got the business mindset and you got the talent. I want you to run my studio. I want you to run my stuff because I don't have time to run this studio. I want you to take the bookings and everything. So everything is under your responsibility. I'm like, all right, we go in different stage now, you know?
Yeah.
So I learned photography inside out, in a sense that studio photography, I'd say, how to pose people, how to make them smile, give them the great service. Then I learned how to take bookings on the phone.
Yeah.
I learned how to manage staff. I learned how to do
so
rota.
really, you found your passion to begin with.
I did.
And then that business side that was always in the background.
Yes.
You started to find opportunities to bring that forward alongside it as well.
Correct. I loved it. And, you know, I done a lot of jobs in the past, Ed, like textile, being a manager for shops and estate and letting agencies selling properties. And when I got into photography, I'm like, boom, this is what I want. And I was the age of 28 when I found my passion. What I would say, it was never about money when I started photography. And it was just a passion. I want to be like, improve my skills. I want to be more like arty, creative.
Yeah.
And I love doing that. And when you're doing something you love and it also brings you money on the side, happy days.
Yeah.
That you settled, you found your goal, life goal. That's why I would
What's that
say.
expression? If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, which is somewhat of a cliche, but it's true. Like if you enjoy it, you're going to put that much more energy into it. Yeah, I 100% agree. And to be able to use the business background as well. What did your dad think?
He was very proud of me. I mean, he was a little bit sad that I left uni, you know, because in Turkey, this is like very strange, very, very different than UK. If you don't go to uni and obviously have a diploma, you're nothing in Turkey. You won't even get a normal, good, high-paid job, whatever. Like you won't have a good career, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's really important to have a diploma. So he was really sad. But I said, Dad, listen, this is UK. They don't care about diploma. I can do anything here. You know, it's all about the talent, this, that. So when I became obviously a photographer and I'm doing well, managing studios and stuff in Birmingham, he was like, you know what, I'm proud of you. So he was proud of me, which is good because it is business, isn't it? It's talent, but it's also business.
Well, this is it. And this is, I think, a stage every photographer has to come to terms with at some point. We're naturally creative people. And this is what I was wondering about your engagement with the university, because my engagement with the university wasn't as connected because I think having that creative spark.
Did you go uni, by the way?
Oh, went to uni degree.
What did you do?
Media production.
Did you? So did you learn anything? I just want to ask you because a lot of photographers from Coventry University coming to me and they said, I want to work for you. I want to learn or I want to train with you.
Yeah.
So I just want to know, did you learn anything? Like, obviously the basic, I understand that. But when these people come in on their last year to train with us, they know nothing about lighting. They know, maybe knowledgeable wise, they might do like on the paper and stuff, but they don't know how to use their light and practicing. They don't know how to take photos.
I think university, of course, is a business.
Yeah.
And they're there to fulfill a certain amount of days of education and to test you at the end of it. In terms of a creative business where there are a lot less rules than, if, as you say, if you were a doctor, you can be creative within the business side of things as well. I would say my education started when I left university.
Okay.
And
when you say your education started, you mean like more when understanding photography and stuff?
Yes, actually asking the right questions and actually learning the things that I actually needed to learn to be able to develop. They introduce you to equipment, they introduce you to studios.
Yeah.
But you need to push yourself into the deep end. That's how you learn. This is why I bought the audio mixer, because I need it in front of me to be able to mess with it, to learn it.
I might steal that, by the way.
Yep.
If it's missing, it's me.
It's got flashy lights. I like it. It's mine. But yeah. So in terms of institutionalized education, no, like I think going out and being passionate is the way forward. And you got to be stubborn in my eyes.
I always tell people, you know, young generation or young entrepreneurs, turn your passion into business.
Yeah.
I think that's the mindset that people should have, like, I'm hearing a lot of people working 9 to 5. They are so unhappy. They're miserable. They don't know, they don't like what they do. They got like one holiday, you know what I mean? I do understand some people, they're happy to do that because they got no headache, no responsibility, no risks.
Yeah.
But some people, they do mention, I hate what I do. So what do you do about it? What is it? If you hate what you do, what is it that...
The thing is for me,
how you can change it?
And I think this is the same for both of us.
Yeah.
We don't feel the need to ask for permission to do something.
Yeah.
If we want to do something, there's not... We've trained ourselves to not have anything in the way.
Correct.
We just do it. And if it doesn't work, we move on.
Yeah, correct.
To the next thing.
Yeah.
And I think people put those barriers in their own way. They're afraid of failing. But
yes.
failure is the only way to learn.
Success.
And this is what baffles me, because you go through institutionalized education, university, and then I'm quite gifted that I get to see quite a lot of famous talks from people that have become successful, and quite universally they say, oh, we just learned how to fail faster than other people.
Yes, I agree with that.
And to just try things, to shotgun at the wall, and whatever sticks and whatever lands is what you go with, and to not be afraid.
But not everyone.
They don't teach you that at school.
Yes, of course they don't. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But not everyone got the same mindset, obviously. So that's the problem. I mean, some people are happy where they are, but some people complain. But I'm looking at them. What do you actually do about it?
Yeah.
You know, if I'm unhappy could be in a space, could be in business, could be some stage in my life, I have to change it. I have to find a solution to make myself happy, because for me, mental health is the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're happy, then you can make anything.
Because it's good to be successful in business and earn lots of money. But some people are so poor, all they have is money. If you don't have the balance of happiness to be able to put something into the universe that can benefit other people's lives, it's about giving to a certain degree as well. To know that you've improved someone else's day, that has a certain value to it as well, that needs to be fulfilled as well.
Definitely.
And again, not taught at university.
Don't go to uni, guys.
Well,
I'm only joking.
Go to uni just to make your mistakes. Make all your mistakes at uni, which is beneficial, and then make less painful mistakes.
Yeah.
When you...
I think I cared about my dad too much at that time, because when I went to uni, it's about 2009, 2008, 2009. At that time, international students used to pay 10 to 12 grand. Yeah. This is just university fees, by the way. And the UK students used to pay 2.5 grand.
Yeah.
So even
back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day. Now they pay the same. Yes, I know. So I'm just like, business, it's all about you. It's all about your mindset. You don't have to go to uni to have a degree. I'm looking at my friends from uni. They either became a housewife, they work for other people. They haven't achieved the end goal. Does that make sense?
Well, hey, the end goal might be different for different
correct.
people.
Also correct. So. But if you study business, you want to be a business...
Of course, yeah.
Person, isn't it? You want to have your own business. In that sense, I'm saying that. Yeah, of course, some people like, you know what, I did it. I done my diploma, but I don't want to carry on doing anything to do with my course or university. I just want to work for someone. Happy days. So, as I say, it's about mindset and mentality.
Even the other day, I had someone come up to me saying they messaged me to be my assistant years ago, and they studied photography.
Okay.
And
that's not like, Ryan, is it?
No, that's not Ryan. Ryan stumbled up to me in a nightclub and was like, oh, you take photos?
Oh my God, that's the way we met.
Yeah, this is how you meet all the good people, basically. So, yeah. But basically this person messaged me, and I said, oh, okay, so how's your photography going nowadays? And she's like, oh, I'm not doing photography. And the back of my head is like, wow, you weren't stubborn enough to carry on going.
Yes.
I'm glad I avoided that one. I didn't have enough work to share.
I hope she doesn't listen to this podcast.
Yeah, well, she might do. Well, I told her the same thing. To be honest,
don't mention your name, darling.
To be honest, she was quite drunk. I don't think she even remembers the conversation.
Oh, no, maybe she fancied it. You never know.
They were drunk. I'll take the compliment. That's as far as that's going. But anyway. And then we got to meet each other.
All right. Okay.
Go on, let's go to that story.
So when I was managing the Birmingham studio, I want to tell you guys how I met this guy. So we were really busy in Birmingham studio, and there's this photographer came, but I'll come back to that in a bit anyway. I'm on a
It was the establishment. It was the Slug and Lettuce in Coventry.
Yeah, it's a bar. Yeah, I was out with girls and whatever. I can't remember who I was with, and then I met this photographer. Like, he's taking photos. He's got really nice equipment, camera, and I approached him and I said, "Excuse me, like, what camera do you use?" He said, "Oh, Canon Mark II, I think that was
maybe Mark II
at
the
that time.
I've gone through a few,
of course." And I said, "Oh, I'm a photographer too. Like, what type of photos do you do?" He's like, I do club work, outdoor, models, this, that. I'm like, "Oh, I'm a model. Can you shoot me one day? Like, can we do outdoor photos? Because I need to improve my portfolio. I need some photos outdoor. And I really want it." And then he's like, "Yeah, of course. Why not? We'll arrange a day. We'll do it." So I said, "Okay, I got a studio. I got a couple of studios in Birmingham that I'm managing. We'll go and take photos there, and then we'll do some outdoor shoots." So we arrange our meeting. We gone to Birmingham and in one of my studios. And then I said, "I got another studio in this location. There's a very nice bridge. Let's go and take photos there." He's like, "Okay." So when we parked on my other studio, he's like, "Oh, bastards, I came to this studio and they never employ me." I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I came for a job. I wanted to take..."
Did I say bastards?
You did say that,
okay.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't me, but yeah, it was me. So I'm just like, "Oh my God, I remember you. You came about like 3 months ago." Can I say?
Yeah.
He was in a very scruffy outfit.
Hey, so this
I don't want to bring him down, but
these were the skater days. I was probably ripped jeans,
he was young,
with a skateboard, getting into photography. It
he
happens.
had white
up a little bit. I'm
trainers.
still rough.
Yeah, white trainers, which is covered in mud. He had
Was it
these
covered in mud?
trousers. Yeah, what do you call these bits coming out of your
It was
trousers?
frayed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So they were muddy, and then it was just like he had long hair and this. And the boss said to me, "Oh, we got a new cameraman, so you can train him and we can, you can do the sales, he can do the photography from now on." And I'm like, "Hell no, over my dead body. I don't want that guy. Didn't you see his outfit?" He's like, "What about?" He's like, I said, "No, we're giving a service to your client. He needs to be more presentable." So anyway, because of me, Edwards could never work in that studio. Bless him. Have you forgiven me now?
I have forgiven you.
Yeah, that's good.
But this is the main difference between you and I, because we both see very similar in that we don't ask for permission. We go out, we do what we want to do. Whereas I'm very much function over form, whereas you're more form over function.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily care what something looks like. Look at these janky microphones, so long as they work. But you want it to work but look good at the same time.
Yeah, I think
so. And
to be fair, if I seen Edward's portfolio at that time when the boss mentioned this guy is a great photographer, I'll probably be like, "Wow, he's amazing." I didn't even, just because the way he was dressed up, I was so negative towards him, and I'm just like, "No, hell no."
I think
I didn't even get to see your portfolio. Bless you.
There you go. You got to tidy up, guys. Don't wear scraggly jeans.
But I did tell him. So I said, "I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." When we were doing the outdoor shoot in 2015, I said, "Please forgive me. Come on Monday, but dress like this." And then you got the job. I said, "You are a better photographer than me. I'm nowhere near to compare to your skills and his technical knowledge." I said, "I'm so sorry, but come on Monday, you got the job," I said. So yeah. And then we started working in the studio.
I seem to remember like the second shoot, we did that outside shoot with that male model and the car underneath the bridge.
That male model was hot.
Find a picture.
Mike,
that's your opinion,
American
whatever.
Model.
But I seem to remember the second shoot we did. I still had a beanie on my head, an Offspring one. You didn't like it. You're like, "Take it off." I was like, "Oh, I like it. It doesn't matter what I look like. I'm a creative. I can look like how I want."
I know.
But yeah.
When it comes to, I think, fashion and outfits, you know me, how I am. It's very important for me.
Anyway, so we met. we started working together in
together.
the studios. That camera turned off, but it's back on again. No one noticed.
Lifestyle.
I didn't even have to point it out. Really, Ryan was on it like a rocket.
Really?
So yeah, we started working together in that studio and like at least 2 other studios in Birmingham over a period of time.
Yeah.
Doing lots of families, lots of fashion and that kind of stuff. I think the main things in that time that I learned from a photography standpoint was really nailing the poses to know how to direct and instruct. And I'm deriving away from the conversation, talking about myself for a moment. That is for me a key point within all photography. I say I shoot with my personality first more than a camera, and that time really helped me hone that in.
I agree. Yeah.
So so you were doing the business side of things as well as the photography.
I stopped doing photography, as you know. I started running and taking bookings and selling. You know, I was more on the management of the business side, you know. But what happened is in 2000, not too long after I met Ed, I opened my own studio in Coventry.
I'm going to jump in for 1 second.
Yeah.
I think even from the very first meeting of you, you said you worked at these studios, but I seem to remember very early on you saying, I want my own studio in Coventry.
I did.
You said that very early on.
That was my goal.
Yeah, I think that's always been at the back of your mind.
It was,
to figure out your own house, your own situation.
Yeah, and it took me about 2 years to have my own studio because I had to learn.
I only half believed you, to be honest.
Did you? Why? Whatever I say, I always do believe me on that. Yeah. Once I want something so much, it's gonna happen. Yeah. I'll make that happen. I'll work towards it. So I have that mindset anyway. But in 2015, I opened my own studio and everyone said to me, look, there's no makeover studios in Coventry. Yeah. Coventry is a shite hole. Excuse my language. Okay. I did say shite.
It's fine. You can say shit if you want.
And no, I don't like swearing. And then they were like, you know, you won't get any clients. You won't be able to run a business there. I'm just like, you know what? I found a very nice premises. And I'm going to do it. What these people didn't understand, once you want something so much, you can make anything work. Point 1. Point 2, Birmingham rent's really high. Council tax is really high. Yeah. A lot of things like no parking to provide on your customers. So what I can do, what was my, obviously, what I was thinking when I opened my studio in Coventry, I'm like, do you know what? I've been one of the best studio photographers in Birmingham. And what I'm going to do in my business, I'm going to bring clients from Birmingham. I don't care about Coventry people.
Yeah.
You know, my main goal is not Coventry. My main goal is Birmingham.
Make it a good enough studio, people will travel over to them.
Exactly. Now I'm on a stage like people traveling from London to come to my studio, believe it or not. I'm like, wow, guys, don't you have like studios in London? They're like, yeah, we do. But we read your reviews. You're amazing. And we wanted to come by train, have the photos, go back to London. If your service is great and if you know what you're doing, I can bring anyone from anywhere. Yeah. Simple as that. So all you need to do, just believe in yourself, I guess. Yeah. Basically I opened my own studio. I had about 2,000, just less than $3,000 in my pocket to invest in that business. Yeah. I found this unit. It was in a wreck place. And then I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to put my builders in, keep it on a budget with the equipment and all that. Yeah. And I'm going to renovate this place. I'm going to make this my home, my studio. Yeah. This was always my dream. And I did it. So I remember me and Ed, obviously we got no clients. The studio just like opened. He was bringing models in because what I love about Ed, his networking is massive. He's very friendly guy. And he knows a lot of people in Coventry. And he brought a lot of people into the studio to do like model shoot days. And slowly, business picked up. Yeah. It came to a stage that people were laughing at me when I opened my studio, like, oh, we laugh at you, your shutter's always down. And I'm like, all right, okay, I can open my studio in one day and make what you make in 1 month.
Yeah,
How about that?
definitely,
You know that. You know, when it comes to photos and portfolios, they're very expensive.
Yeah.
And I don't have to open 7 days, but I came to a stage that I had some contracts, some new customers, leads from these contracts, the people that I work with. You know, they basically sent their own clients as well. I was open like 7 days a week, and I had like about 26 people working for me, like 3 PAs, you know, about 15, 16 photographers.
Yeah.
And what I loved about myself, obviously my background is photography. I like training my own photographers.
So in that time, you built your studio up.
Yeah.
Had a lot of people coming in. Had a lot
Bless
of people
you as well.
working.
You were very supportive
and
from day one.
You know what? When I started getting into everything, you have to create your own opportunities. And especially at the beginning, I would say it was like a 3 to 5 year section where I was just going out and trying to do things. And I didn't have much help. And I was doing, at the very beginning, photo shoots for 25 quid.
I know. Same, I did that as well. Like friends and people that I know. Like, I think mine was slightly higher than your £50.
That's fine, you know.
All
like,
the photos.
You have to start somewhere. If you're determined to do something, it's not necessarily about the money, which is a superpower in itself. But yeah, the fact that you built that studio, and it was a pleasure to be able to be there in that time and to help you. From the studios we worked at in the past, we knew quite a lot of people that were attempting to do this kind of thing. Other studios were built from the people that were that worked at those studios as well. But the fact that you've kept it very core to your values and what you wanted out of a studio, to be able to create an experience for people to be able to walk away feeling buzzing about their day. And yeah, that those kind of things just coincided with what I thought a studio should be.
The thing is, like, what's one of the most important thing in business that people hearing my voice, like when I take their bookings, and they get like kind of a friendly vibe from me. And I never tell them I'm the business owner. They're like, oh, who are you? I'm like, I'm Ashley. I'm the studio manager, by the way. So you'll see me on the day. So they know they are expecting to see me on the day because I'm the first voice they hear. And then when they come to my business, I'm always like, what would you like to drink, guys? You know, I'm trying to give them the best service because what we do is obviously makeovers. People come in, this is a luxury treatment, isn't it? It's kind of luxury experience. They come in to spend quality time in there. So you need to give them the best service and then best photos. And then what happens is I show them the pictures and I sell packages. That's how I live, basically, how I make my living money. But people always appreciate when you give them the best service. They always appreciate, and they always do packages. They always buy from you. So
for myself, more because I'm more focusing towards my weddings nowadays. I always make sure I meet all my clients. And I make sure they know they've got the guy. You know, they've got the person they're booking, the person that's going to care the most about their weddings. So to show you care, to show you're the actual person, not just
to also understand what exactly it's going to happen. You explain everything. You're in control. I mean, I mean, we did weddings in the past, didn't we, together? So I know how you operate on that. But yeah, you're very professional when it comes to that. To be fair, I'll give you that credit.
Thank you. But so let's speed run this. So since you've opened your studio, I went and built my own studio space as well.
That's why we
clashed. Which is why we clashed. Which is, well, hey, I needed that experiment to try, you know, and I always had that space with the intention and knowledge that building's going to get knocked down. I thought I was going to get a year, 6 months to a year in that space. But because of COVID, because of lockdowns, I managed to get 3 years out of it. So brilliant.
Can I just ask you a question?
Go for it, yeah.
So this is one of the points that we wanted to talk about today. Obviously, we used to work together. You were my main photographer in my studio. Then obviously you decided to open your own studio. How did you find it having your own studio? I know about the freedom. You can do whatever you want to do. It's your own space. But when it comes to bills, when it comes to, responsibilities, running that business, trying to bring new clients in.
Yeah.
Could you please talk about that?
So for me, it was always an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
I was very lucky in that because we do a lot of nightclubs, the owners of one of the nightclubs was the landlord, as it were. So the bills were very kind,
Mm-hmm.
and they look after us continuously.
Okay.
So I have a lot to be thankful for.
That is very important, by the way. If you got a nice landlord, that's very important. My landlords are amazing as well, so they always look after me.
So yeah, it was always an experiment. You can't. I as yourself, we get a creative idea, we just go for it, and it's one of those things. Looking back on it, like I was crazy to think I could do it. It's like, but I'm glad for the experience, and I've learned a lot of lessons. So there's a lot of wealth to be recouped from that. But yeah, it was a challenge, and it was a challenge that I could not invest enough time to make it work. I've learned lessons that now I would, if I was to go at it again, I'm more confident that I'll be more successful with it. But for me, the biggest benefit from having that space was just to have my own space to be creative in, and to not have to ask permission, and to just book a shoot and to just do it. So yeah, nearing the end, I was getting quite a lot of emails, people wanting to rent it, and it was starting to work over a period of time, but it's not something that I really put enough energy into. Yeah.
Do you know why? Because you more wanted to be creative, and you had no time. I'm experiencing the same thing. Once you're focused on one thing, you kind of miss out on the other thing. So
you
unfortunately, we do that.
Time, like wise with your money.
Time is very important, and discipline when it comes to business. But one of the mutual things that we share, we don't chase money.
Yeah,
me and you, we are comfortable what we earn. Maybe that's a wrong mentality, but our end goal is not to become mega rich. Our end goal is, I guess, to live a comfortable life, to be able to afford the things that we like, and have your passion, without because a lot of people, they do say, for example, photography or videography, they hate it. They come to a stage, I hate it.
I'm not making enough money. So
it's either they make money, but because they burn themselves out, they don't want to do it anymore. They lose their passion towards their hobby or business, whatever it is. So this is what I'm trying to say. So we are very calm when it comes to that. We are comfortable. We can say no to people. We can say yes to people as well. It's we are in control in that. There are a lot of obviously areas that we can always improve, but I'm happy to be I am, to be fair.
And we both tried the same thing in terms of having a studio. We tried that experiment, and we've both come at different outcomes.
Yeah.
I've come to the conclusion that it's far better for me to rent studios, to be able to, when I have the
rent
clients,
other people's studios.
To rent other people's studios, yes. And
why is that? Because of the bills and stuff?
Not necessarily. It's because if you have your own studio, you've got the rent that you need to pay for. So you want to build a business so it can pay for itself.
Yeah.
Whereas I didn't have the time and that I could invest to create the business to be able to make it pay for itself.
Yeah.
So I'm very particular with studios, and which is why now, like yourself and one or two other studios that I keep an eye on, that I would much more like to rent than to have my own studio. And I think that comes to a point with any professional photographer that starts earning money. Do I need my own studio? I've known many people that have decided to have their own space and then come to the same conclusion. It's far better to find a good studio like yours to be able to rent as opposed to have their own business space.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've spoken about this before. You're now opening your doors more to allow people to hire
to rent it, because I used to be obviously so busy. You know how we used to work like 7 days a week, like loads of staff working, photographers working for me. But obviously COVID ruined everything for me. I was shut like 1.5 years. So I'm like literally rebuilding my brand, rebuilding my business. So it comes to my business falls under luxury right now. People, especially like right now, a lot of people going through economical crisis, like, you know, difficulties with the electric bills and, you know, bills in general, if that makes sense. So, you know, how many people will come on a daily basis? Oh, you know what? I'm going to go to the studio. I'm going to spend £500-600 on my photos. No, it's very rare now that people don't want to do that. Having said that, so I came with a new idea because we used to open 7 days a week. Now the studio place is available. So what I want to do is help photographers who hasn't got their own studio. They can use the studio space. So I brought a new idea. My membership club, my studio's membership club.
Yeah.
So people can be my member, they get discounted rates and they will get like a good usage, like maybe a few hours a month, like by being my member, if that makes sense, rather than hiring it out for one day. They pay bigger rate, obviously, for hourly, if that makes sense. By being member, it will come to cheaper price.
It makes a lot of sense. And from what you show me, the entry level is inexpensive. It's a good entry point for if people want to start having the experience of using a studio, renting a studio, have a bit of assistance and using the professional kit.
Yeah.
But then if the work and your portfolio and your business as a photographer builds and you need a bit more time, then there are affordable options that you can use in the studio as well. So it goes along hand in hand with what the kind of photography.
I'm not a photographer anymore. I mean, I can take photos, as you know. If my photographer doesn't turn up, I would say my day, I'll go behind the camera and take the photos. And sometimes I do that, to be fair. I still enjoy that, you know, like during the weekday, if someone calls, last minute photo shoot, can I do it? I don't want to say no to my clients. Of course. And I'm like, yeah, of course. Even it's my day off and I got nothing to do. I'm like, 3 o'clock at the studio and I go behind the camera. And I like doing that, but I'm more about the business now. As you know, I'm not as busy as before. So studio is free, it's available, and I want to be it to be beneficial to other people who doesn't have their own studio. They can use the space and I can obviously build my business up again, you know, because why that big studio sitting empty every single day? So I changed my mindset on that. I used to be like, no, I don't want to rent my studio, I don't want to do this, you know, I don't need that money. But now I'm thinking, let's bring more business, let's help other people as well. So
it's good. So what are you looking in the future for as a business? To be honest, me personally, I've always been about the network of people.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm good. I'm
caught
good.
up in your cables there.
Yeah.
Something like that. There we go. Cool. Okay. But yeah, I've always been about trying to help other people.
You are.
For me, in terms of my business, my future, I'm looking towards going more towards corporate and to get more freelancers working with me on an ongoing basis after having the studio. Studio is great, but now moving more that direction. So
you got your studio now with me anyway. So.
Yeah.
We always look after each other, you know what I mean?
But yeah, I think opening your doors to other photographers is really the way to go.
I think e-commerce photography is going to pick up. There are a lot of new brands, and you know, as you know, my studio is big, and you know, we got different backdrops and all that, so it's quite good to be you know, I might go in that sector because phones like improved. People know how to take photos now, you know, on their phones and stuff. The only reason I'm still lasting in the studio business is I'm a makeover studio. I provide people makeover. They look different and we give them an experience, not just like click, take photos. So that's why I'm still lasted in this business, in this game, if that makes sense. But going forward, as I give it about another 5 years, a family photo shoot, couples or whatever, it's gonna die. So I'm going into e-commerce, you know, photo shoot, photos and products. And, you know, this is what I want to do. Obviously hire the studio space as well. I'm just going to run the business, to be fair. So that's my obviously future.
And move away from Nikon.
We what? Nikon. I'm planning to sell that. Yeah, I'm planning to sell my camera now. I might buy Sony.
Go Sony just to wind me up. Okay. Anyway, right. Are there anything else you want to talk about? You want to be able to plug right now? How can people reach you? How can people hire the studio? How can they get more information about the different?
All right, so on Instagram, the studios, Instagram is Camera Studios. It's got double S on the end, and you'll be able to access our website from
Camera
there.
with a K, right?
Camera with a K,
Camera
sorry,
K,
because I'm
and
Turkish.
then 2 S's on the end.
Yeah, 2 S's. Well done, thank you.
Sorry.
And my personal one is Aslihan Foster. You need to write that because I don't think people can spell my name. Aslihan Foster. But yeah, reach out to me, guys, if you're a new photographer, or me and Edward, we are thinking also, this is like one of my ideas that I want to do this year. Edward is amazing and he's very knowledgeable when it comes to photography. And we want to do like maybe photography course. He's a little bit busy, obviously, we're coming to a wedding term. Maybe like early end of this year, kind of like September, October time.
Yeah.
We are thinking to do a photography course. Like if you're a photographer, if you want to know how to take pictures, if it's your hobby, we want to teach you how to use your camera, basic lights, indoor, outdoors. We're going to do like 3 stages of courses. So yeah, that's one of our ideas this year, isn't it?
Because especially with myself, when I was first starting into the studio, I paid a photographer. Show me your studio, show me lighting. I'm gonna give it a go.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, they want to get into studio photography. They need that introduction to the space to know how the kit works. Maybe you've taken a lot of photos outside. Maybe you've done a few photography jobs and using natural light. And a lot of people get stuck.
Yeah.
As a natural light shooter, but once you understand,
That's me.
but once you understand the basics of studio photography, you actually can start crafting natural light, ambient light in a way and elevate your photography beyond what just
studio
taking
lighting
a photo.
is very important, very important. And when I take photos, I'm just like, I'm a perfectionist. Yeah, I have to set my lights in a perfect position. Because I don't know how to do editing. Yeah, I'm a photographer, but I don't know
get it right
how
in camera because I haven't got time to edit.
Yeah, so I don't know how to edit. So I have to take the perfect photo. I have to use the perfect lighting to be able to give them the best photos. When I take the pictures, not my photographer. My photographers do the editing for me, but I don't. So
That's it.
Yeah, so we got this year. We're renting out the studio. We're doing membership club. It's amazing. For the details, you can DM me or you can call me. We got some terms and conditions, but it's all like really affordable. We're gonna do photography courses for new photographers, or even you're a photographer but you're not very technical or you're not experienced in studio lighting. So this is our goal, to teach new photographers. So yeah, we got some plans for the studio this year, guys. Make sure it's either Edward or me. Get in touch with us and we'll go from there.
Yeah, spot on. There we go. So we smashed it. Just over an hour. I said 45 minutes. Is what 1 hour, 2 minutes now.
We talk too much.
So, yeah, a little bit. We get into it. See, I've kept very quiet. But yes, thank you very much for watching this podcast number 3. It will be up on all social media: Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, all those places.
I'll
eventually.
give you the copyright. Come on.
So yeah. It's all good. But thank you very much again, Ashley, for coming in. And we'll catch you guys all in the next video.
Lifestyle.
Peace. Thank you very much for
tuned,
watching, guys. See you later. Bye. And I'm going to turn off.